For us college football fans, what does the latest with the NCAA and Tennessee and Virginia and that whole ruling, what does it actually mean for us when it comes to consuming the sport? We'll talk about it right now. First things first, make sure you subscribe right here to the Entre YouTube channel. We have the pleasure and the privilege of talking about college football, not just from August to November, December into the national championship game and taking a break. No. Talk college football all year round, every single day. So we appreciate y'all in advance for being locked in with us, all right? This is a one-off video. We do a live show Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll probably also talk about this on the live show, so get in the live chat. On those live shows, we'll have a good time. Bottom line, being subscribed. Best way to be a part of this college football community year-round, so we appreciate you for that. All right, so to set the table here, a judge granted the attorney generals of Tennessee and Virginia their preliminary injunction against the governing body's NIL rules prohibiting negotiations for high school and transfer portal recruits. So what does all that mean? Essentially, it says the judge said, hey, listen, the rules that were in place, those don't make any sense, NCAA. You can't have these rules that prohibit negotiations between recruits, whether it be high school or at the portal level, and expect that not to factor into these guys' recruitments. All right, so that never made any sense. We're all on the same page here. Bada bing, bada boom, let's roll. So what I want to make sure I say to at the top of this thing, full disclaimer, I never went to law school. I never took the bar, never studied for the bar, never had really any interest in doing any of those things outside of watching Suits. What I'm coming to you here talking about is strictly as a college football fan, as a fan of the sport, and as someone who cares about the product on Saturdays and what's honestly best for our sport overall. So with that being said, this impacts your team, whether you're a fan of Virginia Tech, whether you're a fan of Tennessee, whether you're a fan of Charleston Southern, whether you're a fan of Alabama. Like, just because we have Tennessee on this thumbnail and on this lower third doesn't mean it's strictly about Tennessee. It means it's about all of college football. So with that being said, this is great for college football. This is a great thing because you have to imagine now this won't just stay a reality in the states of Tennessee and Virginia with this ruling. Feel like it's a matter of time before the floodgates open and this becomes a reality across the United States. So that's a good thing. Also, the rules, like I already said previously, that were in place around negotiations with NIL and recruits, those never made any sense. Not just from a moral standpoint, but from like a human function standpoint. The rule was, okay, you can have conversations around NIL, but you can't use it when it comes to recruiting. Y'all, if I know I'm going to make a certain amount of money at a job that I'm going to take, obviously that plays a factor in the job that I take. Okay? Now, and even further, you can't have conversations around how much money they're going to make. Of course that's what's happening. Of course you're having conversations around dollar amount, regardless of what these rules say. How are you going to talk NIL without that? So the fact that this is now just happening more above board is a good thing for all parties involved. And I think the thought that is getting overlooked a little bit here, when it comes to NIL, everyone is always so quick to talk about the corruption and the kids that are going to get taken advantage of and the bad actors. And I'm not telling you there's not bad actors. I think we can all understand in any profession, there's always going to be some folks that are just up to no good and making poor decisions. We get that. But is more transparency not the answer to more corruption in college sports? Is more transparency not something that's going to ultimately help us safeguard from bad actors and negative things happening? Because if we're talking about, hey, we want to make sure these kids are able to make the best decision for themselves, for their future, for their college career, for their NIL prospects, okay, let's talk about that before they go to the school. Let's have those conversations ahead of time. And again, these conversations were already happening. I have to believe that. From what we can understand and from what it sounds like, these conversations were already happening before this ruling, but we all understand now. The fact that there's less gray area for everyone here, from the recruit to the schools to the collectives to everybody involved, this is a good thing, and it's going to help us have more transparency, more honesty, and just everyone make better decisions for themselves. So what's next? What's next, and also what does it mean for us as college football fans? I want to start with what's next. Again, I'm a college football fan. I am not a lawyer. I am not an NIL expert, but it feels like to me we are further and further down the road of providing more structure and more guidelines to NIL. Now, what does that look like? I don't know. But it feels like to me, in a world where large amounts of money are changing hands for a service, in what world does payment for a service ever exist without strong parameters, without strong guidelines? And you have to believe at some point in time some structures or contracts in place to protect everyone that is exchanging hands with the money and everyone that's having a service that they are providing for that money. So that feels like a lot of common sense to me by nature of how this thing is trending. I don't pretend to know the future or have any inside information to what these future rulings could look like with the NIL and the NCAA and all that stuff, but like that's the way that it feels to me. Now, this is the most important thing I want to talk about. If you have not heard a word I've said throughout this segment, listen to this part. Why should we care as college football fans when it comes to NIL and the Tennessee ruling? For us as college football fans, your care factor on your product on Saturday afternoon for your school has never been more important, has never been more impactful. And what I mean by that is it used to be, hey, give money to this organization, to this booster, to whatever. Give money to your school so you can get better resources, so you can have a better weight room, so you can have more waterfalls in your training facility to help get more recruits to commit. That was the pitch previously to why you should give money. Now it's, hey, give money so we can, one, retain our roster to keep these All-Americans on our roster from hitting the portal, and also give money so we can land more 5-stars. That is the world we're entering into now. So as a college football fan, this is game on. This is game on. If you want to help your team compete for national championships, conference championships, and all that and the like, you can now have a greater impact than you ever could have before throughout the history of college football. So what this means now, again, this is game on for the college football public. And the care factor, like I said, is what is going to be most impactful and most noticeable across the college football landscape. I've said this previously, and I'll say it again. We see schools that are playing ball. We see schools that are on the cutting edge of NIL and willing to get into what's happening right now. Missouri, massive donation, anonymous donation north of $60 million that are playing ball. They want to go out and attract the top talent, land the top talent, and be able to compete at the highest level in the future. Tennessee, same deal. They're playing the NIL game. Across the board, we're seeing schools that care about their football team and have a fan base that cares about their football team competing in the new era of college football. So as a college football fan, that's what this means for us. It means that the care factor has never been more important, has never been more impactful for your school. So keep it locked right here. We talk college football every single day. Got a lot more to talk about here. Just because it's February does not mean college football is not still happening. So make sure you're locked right in, or make sure you're locked right here in order to stay in the loop to the nth degree. Hey, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.